The journey for Design 39 Campus began back in the fall of 2011 when groups of people came together from across the district to begin designing the school site itself. Eventually, the design began to coalesce around some few basic ideas. First, the spaces had to be multi-use and flexible. Eventually, this also meant that the furniture and surfaces within the school needed to be multi-use and flexible. So we wanted space that enhanced engagement, creativity, communication, and collaboration, and that was technology infused so that students could go anywhere on campus and use technology, be connected to Wi-Fi, to create projects, to connect to the more global world, and be able to collaborate beyond the school walls. This is a mock-up of one end of one floor of the buildings at Design 39 Campus. In the green, you'll see spaces that are designed to be used as a double classroom, so 2 teachers in a space with 2 classes. Spaces that look more like a traditional classroom, which is what you see here with the 2 red dots. In the blue space, you will also see that this is a collaboration space. This is actually wide open to the rest of the areas for people to gather together, for students to present, learn in smaller groups. It's a highly flexible area. And then the orange area, which is the makery. Inside the collaboratory, you can see that this is an idea of what a collaborative space would look like in IDEO, which is one of the high-tech companies up in the Bay Area. And you can see how people have gathered together in various ways in order to have conversations. Sometimes they work independently, but oftentimes they would gather up around a table or a whiteboard to have conversations. At Realm Charter School up in Berkeley, places like hallways have become these types of areas. So our goal is to have spaces that can be multiple use. So whether that is a hallway or an actual collaboratory, if you can gather together with groups of students, it can become a learning zone. And this is an artist mock-up of one of our larger collaboratories. And you'll see in it everything is on wheels, can be moved around, and so nothing is stuck down into a single use. What you see here are 4 possible configurations in a classroom, and it's not the only ones. You can see up here in the upper left that you have groups of students working at a common table with a whiteboard in which they are working together on a collaborative activity. This could also be a place where another adult may pop up and work with a small group, and maybe they need to do a quick directed lesson with them, or one of the students is popping up to explain something that they are working on. So that's one possible configuration for this room. Another would be in larger tables. This could be groups of students working on a project that requires them to stand around this table and work together to build something or to draw. And as you'll see later, that these tables are more than just tables. They are actually whiteboards as well. So they become writing surfaces. Down here in the lower right, you'll see another configuration. This could be, again, students working either in small teams, or this could even be independent time that they've decided they're going to be these 2 longer tables, or whatever the teacher or students design out of that experience. On the lower left is a really interesting space design. This is using actually foam cubes, where students pull up these foam cubes and they can sit together in a large group setting. They can also use these cubes to pull into smaller settings, and so instead of your traditional chairs and desks, this becomes a very quick impromptu area. The other benefit of the cubes is that they also become building blocks that literally you can build something in a 3-dimensional world. So again, you'll see your double classrooms and your single classrooms. And this would be a space like, for example, at the design school at Stanford. This is a typical classroom type of setting. However, you'll notice here that the walls have paper hanging on them. There's also whiteboards on the walls. So our intent is that we're going to have more than just a small whiteboard, that we have very large surfaces where kids can be writing. You'll see in the tables in front of them here that there's lots of things out for them to work on, and that's the idea, is we want children to be working not only on projects, but reading kinds of things they're working on together. We want them to be able to talk about them and to have an opportunity to share their thinking. Classroom Next was a project that was done at a Wesleyan university where they tried to redesign the university classroom. And so what they wound up doing was, again, everything was put on wheels, and then they had these whiteboards which became mobile as well. So you'll see a lot of this kind of ideas have made its way into the design of Design 39 Campus. The possibilities when a classroom can be folded up and moved out of the way are really limitless. At the design school at Stanford, they actually have wall placards which tell people, like this one over here, how to set the room up when they are done. So basically move everything out of the way so the next group of people coming in can decide what they want to do with the space. And that is one of those design features we have built into Design 39 Campus. Our tables, when they flip up, they actually have another purpose. So they can be a whiteboard table surface to write on directly if you're standing over them, or when you flip them up, this can become another whiteboard surface. And especially at the primary grades, this becomes a great vertical surface for them to write on because it is exactly at their height. The makery is probably one of the most exciting spaces that we have planned. The makery is a space where children are going to use actual tools with materials to create things. And that's the whole purpose behind a makery. It is a highly specialized space, and yet it's still flexible. And so there can be woodworking pieces in here, working with cardboard. In some of the schools, like the Nueva School up in Hillsboro near San Francisco, they even have a laser cutter which they use to create items on the computer, and then it's prototyped out on this laser cutter, and it becomes this project they can then assemble. So there's lots of possibilities in this space. The idea is it is unlimited in creativity. At the Hasso-Plattner Institute of Design at Stanford, this is their makery. Okay, you'll notice that there's a lot of heavy-duty equipment there, some of it a little too scary for children to be using, but we will be using some of the ideas from here to equip the makeries with tools that will be useful for students as they create projects. One of the other specialized spaces at Design 39 Campus is the gallery. And as you enter the school, this will be the building on the left. And in this space, there will be lots of work on display. This could also be a space where students can gather together, and some can present to a larger group. And as you can see here, what was initially would have just been a really simple set of stairs has now become stadium seating for impromptu gatherings. What you can't see in this image is over here underneath the stairs there is kind of almost like a little cave area where other students can go with groups, and they can use it as a reading area or other kinds of really creative play kind of area. At Design 39 Campus, we also have several video studios planned. Initially there was only one, but as we looked over the designs, we found that there are several other small spaces that can be turned into great spaces for creating green rooms. And so those are also going to be places students are going to be working on video projects. This is a view looking down at the campus from the B building up on the second floor. And as you can see, this lunch area is over here in this area, and you'll see this is what we call the showcase, more typically known as an MPR. And then down here in this space, there's a place to gather outside. And this pavilion you see here is a great outdoor space, and then connected to it is this space, which are 3 studios that are designed for fitness. So we have 3 fitness studios, and then in the back behind there is a music room as well. And this is looking down in between the 2 classroom buildings. Our classroom buildings are 2 stories each. The one on the left appears to be 3 stories, but it is actually on ground level that is higher than the C building, which you can see here. This area down the middle is called the promenade, and this connects these 2 spaces, and there's a area for plantings. There's wall art that will be going up as the years go on, and there'll be plants in this general space as well. So this becomes another collaborative space that we're going to be using for the outside area. And this is the ground level of the promenade to give you a little bit of a view of what it will look like as you look down this space. The Welcome Center is the first place that you'll discover as you enter the campus. So when we open, we hope to see you there. Come on in and enjoy your tour of the campus. Hope you enjoy this preview of the Design 39 campus.